Hello, Alex here, and today we're going to be unboxing this, the Holga 120 WPC. Let's get into it. This is the box. It's pretty simple. We have a picture of the camera, some very basic information. It has a 120-degree viewing angle, which equates to roughly a 13mm, 35mm equivalent field of view. It takes 120 film. It can take pictures in both 6x9 and 6x12 formats. So natively, it's a 6x12 panorama, but there's a mask in the box that lets you shoot 6x9. The aperture itself for the pinhole has a 0.3mm diameter. I don't know what that is in inches, but it equates to a f135. Oh my god. That is absolutely crazy. And we'll see just how that affects your shutter speed in a moment, because I've seen pictures of the back. So let's actually open it up. Right. Nothing else in there, so what do we have here? Basic instruction manual, how pinholes work, some shutter speeds, exposure table, general specs. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so yeah, it's a 0.3mm pinhole, but the actual distance from the pinhole to the film surface, which is effectively the actual focal length, is 40mm. But with the wide aspect ratio, you get a diagonal equivalent to a 13mm lens. That makes sense. So, we'll do these first. Here we have a cute little strap. I probably will never use that because I use Peak Design for everything. I'll just throw that away. And then here we have the 6x9 mask. So this will just sit inside the camera body. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And now, what we're all here for. This is the Holga 120 WPC, the wide pinhole camera. Okay, first off, it feels like a Holga. It feels really cheap and it's really light. And that makes sense. I mean, I didn't pay a lot for this thing. I didn't expect a lot. So, what do we have? A bubble level on top, just to get your pictures actually straight, because when you have a slight angle in a panorama shot, you lose a huge amount of the negative actually correcting that in post-processing, which I've realized shooting 35mm film in the Pentax 6.7. Very loud and clicky film advance knob. We have our frame counter on the back. Well, it's not a frame counter, it's a frame window, I suppose. Yeah, you just move this to whichever mode you want to be in and look for the numbers on the backing paper on the back of the film. Here's your exposure guide, which is a bit crazy. For ASA or ISO 100, fine weather 7 to 9 seconds, overcast 10 to 12 seconds, and morning or dusk 13 seconds or beyond. So you're talking long exposures with this thing, so you really want to make use of the tripod mount on the bottom. On the front, we have the lens cap. Can we see the pinhole? No, we can't because the shutter's closed. Oh, there we go. So push that. There it is. Okay, so it's a simple push shutter. It just slides back and forth. There's a spring pushing it back. And there's a threaded cable release socket here. So you can use your cable release just to push that open. And then let go and you're finished your exposure. Very, very simple. The latches and strap lugs on the side. Okay, so we pinch this with a nail. That feels gnarly. That's very rough metal. I don't like the feeling of that. And then push down. Okay, then does this slide or lift? Okay, so it lifts from the bottom. No, it's just a bit stiff. Okay, then the entire back comes off the thing. And this is the inside of the camera where you would load your film. So it's nice to see that they actually include an empty spool because, I mean, not everyone would have one. I have a few lying around from developing film, but a lot of people probably wouldn't. The tensioner to keep your film spool tight is just a pad of foam. That's very janky. There's nothing really holding it that tight. It's just there's a nub up here to catch the top of the spool, but there's nothing on the bottom, so it's just being held tight by the back, I suppose. Yeah, wow, I mean, yeah, there's actually nothing holding this in at all. Jesus. So, yeah, you shake it, it just falls out. Okay, you can see the actual shutter mechanism in there. So the spring is off here on the left somewhere. That's pretty simple. So looking at this and then looking at the 6x9 mask, I presume that this is just going to come out. Okay, I figured it out. If we have a look here, there are little tabs that are just very slightly pointing inwards on each end. So if we just squeeze either side of this mask, it lifts out. There we go. And then this one should pop right in. Just center it. Yeah, it's just a very snug fit. There's nothing really holding it in place. So I'm gonna throw that in a drawer and never look at it again because I have no intentions of using this as a 6x9 camera. Go wide or go home. If I wanted to use a normal 120 format, I'd use the god-awful Mamiya 69 that I'm working on. Yeah, you heard that right. So the take-up spool fell on the floor, so I'm going to go get that. Get the back. Just kind of slip it on there. Squeeze it down tight. That clicks pretty securely. And that clicks pretty securely. So there it is. So that's that. The Holga 120 WPC. So thank you for joining me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, even though this isn't what I normally do. You know, unboxings aren't my thing. But there isn't that much coverage of this particular model of Holga on YouTube, so I thought it would be a bit useful. I'd like to hear your thoughts down below to see what kind of film I should put through this camera first. I'm going to shoot one roll of colour and one roll of black and white. Let me know what you think, and if I have it, or if I can get it reasonably quickly and cheaply, I'll shoot it. If you like the video, consider subscribing or donating to my Patreon, where the tiers start at just €1 per month. As luck would have it, the day after I uploaded this video, I got my first supporter on Patreon. Thank you so much to Riley for signing up for the Champion tier. You get to see this video 3 days before everyone else. Your support is oh so appreciated. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at Chaco1277 for new pictures every single day. Stay safe and ta-ta for now.